Uh, Remember I tell you collect bones? These are the lamb shank bones. This is a pork bone. I'm just going to show you the kind of bones I have because this is how, what I do. I cook these things down. Here's some more bones. I can't even remember what they belong to. But I've been collecting them. Like I said, I stick them in the freezer here. Now I'm going to fill this with water. This is my pressure cooker. Not my canner. I'm talking about my cooker. What we're going to do is fill this with cold water. And we're going to cook these bones down. Then somebody asked, what about arthritis? So we're going to show you how you can deal with it naturally and try to build up your joints so you don't have this problem. That's why when I cook chicken, I finish baking it so I can get the bone marrow and eat the gristle off the bones, which is very good for you. When I pressure cook chicken and can it, I sit there and I'll tear that all off as well and dice the gristle up and put it in my chicken salads and stuff. So we're going to be getting the gristle all the time to make us more healthy to where we don't end up with arthritis. Because a lot of medications and stuff do interfere with it, and as well as, and people don't like hearing it, liquor and drugs, legal and illegal. Okay, so we've got the water there. This pressure is going to tear those minerals out. And it's going to do a beautiful job. And when we're done, you should be able to stab those bones with a knife. I mean, go and crush them with your hands. Then you know you've really cooked them out. Now, it's going to take more than one time filling it with water. Good morning, Jen, Levi. Good morning to everyone. So we're going to put this lid on. My little knob. Let's see if I can get this thing to work again. I don't have to play around with it. And I grease my gasket, which is the rubber piece here, with oil all the time. So if you have something with a gasket and you grease it, every time you use it, after you wash it, come on. You're not going to do this to me, are you? Yeah, you're going to do it to me. Let me get my little this sits on top. And don't forget, tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to sit there and be making cappuccino coffee muffins. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cooking bulgur today. I'm going to be cooking it with whey, and we have duck breasts today. I'm sort of emptying my freezer out. I'm going to be making next week, we're going to be making buffalo wings. And I'm going to be making a meatloaf. And what else am I going to do? I don't know. I was looking at, found a whole bunch of recipes that I said, ooh, this looks good. Very bad habit to do that. Good morning. What's cooking? What we're going to do is have duck breast with bulgur today. I'm going to show you how I use my whey after making cheese and how we cook with it. Very early, Kib, Levi, Jack, good morning. Okay. Yeah, if it's 1 a.m., I think you should be getting some sleep. Okay, so when you buy chicken breasts, they're going to say you have 2 breasts in here, all right? But you make a mistake. Most people, when you say a breast, duck breast, you think of one half. Here is one and this is one. No, they're talking about taking both sides off, and that's one breast. So when the package says 2 breasts, you have 4 pieces. Because you have to cut the pieces in half where the plate here is with the duck. I just have to get it out of the package. Now, some people tell me they don't like duck. Well, it might not have been prepared well, and that's why you don't like it, or maybe it was raw, not cooked all the way. It sort of turned you off. I can understand that. One thing you have to do and check for is their feathers. That's what I'm doing now. I'm pulling them out. They pull a lot of them, but they leave the stubs there. So you're going to have to pull some of them. Some of them do not want to come out. See, I'm pulling them right now. I'll show you. Right here, you see how they stand up? That's what I'm pulling off. So there's a little bit of work you have to do, just like with chicken. We don't have a lot. It's just a few that seem to get stuck and not pulled. So be patient, like you would with a turkey or a chicken. Don't be, irritated with it. Oh, come on. So that's some of the things you have to do. And then you get other ones that are so nice and clean, you sit there and say, oh, this is easy. But when you cook, you have to think of things like this. Okay. Now you're going to hear my pressure cooker going, so I'll have to talk louder as it moves. If I went to school with him, you'd have to give me his name. Or ask him what high school he went to. Ask him what high school he went to. I know you say, why do you wash? Well, we wash our meat. I'm sorry. Hi, Mark, KP, Og. Of course, I doubt it. I doubt anybody I went to school with is really on this channel. Okay? And accusing me of being a wild woman, no. I would have gotten my tail whipped by my mother. She didn't tolerate stuff like that. Believe you me. And you wonder why the way I am, my mother, let's say my mother beat it into me. How's that? That's a good way of describing it. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I'll use this one today. Okay, this is what you're going to do. If you've never had it, pray. Good morning. Okay, we've got the whole breast, left and right of this duck. What we're going to do is we're going to cut down right down the middle. I don't know if you can see this. Now that I tighten my phone up, it's harder to move it. Right here. You see? Fat side's on this side. Right here, you see this part right here? This is exactly where you can cut down. There's one piece, there's two. When you open it like this, you can see it right there. You just cut it right down. Just like that. Now this is going to be a lot of fat. So what we're going to do is at a 45-degree angle, we're going to cut the fat so we can get to the meat cooking it. You don't want to cut it through, you just want to cut the fat. What, Taffy? I fed you. Right. Then you're going to go across it. So you're making little diamonds on the fat. We're going to do this with all the pieces. So the 2 breasts actually feeds 4 people. See, that's what it's going to look like, just like that. Okay, so this one's a little fatter. So I decided I'm going to do bulgur today. That's going to be my starch. It's coming to the end of the week anyway. And I've got a dessert I've got to make too. So let's do it this way. Now you're going to need kosher salt for this. And what we're going to be doing today is searing. We're not braising today. We're actually going to be searing today, which is a little different. In other words, you're going to heat cast iron or whatever frying pan you have. You cannot use a nose stick. You cannot bypass that for this. You cannot, because you have to oil that pan before you turn the heat on or you destroy it. And this, you cannot have any oil in. Believe you me, we'll get plenty from this. Okay, you're going to be salting these. That'll help draw the fat off that we want and give it flavor. Okay? And if you go high, you don't end up with the salt and clumps on your meat. It will spread out. Salt, as you drop things from high, it spreads out, so you get more of a level seasoning. Okay, now you're going to sit there and turn your frying pan on. I'll bring you over here and we'll cook these up. And then we'll get the bulgur and stuff going. Now, bulgur is actually whole wheat. The husk has been removed and then they crack it. So it's already very nutritious. So that's what it is. You can get light whole wheat or dark. I got the dark one here. You can get it in half cracked or finer cracked or whatever you want. But if you keep on grinding it and grinding it and grinding it and grinding it, you're going to end up, as you tighten up the grinder, I'll show you how to do it, you end up with flour. Okay? So you can do that. Okay. So this is what we're doing right now. Good morning, Popeye, Ram, and the Vicious, Bro, and Jay. Good morning, everybody. We're going to have bulgur today. I'm thinking about making some cranberry sauce. We've got half of a butternut squash and duck today. So this is what we're having. Later on I want to make. Later on I want to make cranberry pistachio biscotti. It's really, it just sounds really good. The only thing I'm going to have to do is leave the baking soda out of it because I make my own baking powder. But anyway, that's something that I want to make. It's different. I'm sure some of you have made it. Notice this pan is not hot enough yet. We're still waiting for this pan to get extremely hot. And remember, this part when you're cooking like this is searing. It is not, and I'm going to repeat it again, it is not braising. Braising, most people call it browning, but the proper term is braising when you're browning meat. But when you're searing it, it's no oil at all. I mean, you are literally going to seal everything in on a hot flame. We're going to get a lot of oil from this, and I can only put 2 in this pan at a time, so I'm going to have to sit there and throw the oil out and lay the next 2 in behind it. So that's what we're having today. It does sound good. Oh, Charlotte, well, welcome. Red, thank you, Juan, for the heart. I'm back. EJ, okay. Charlotte. Oh, I'm glad it's your first time here. Okay, this pan is really getting hot now. I can almost not touch it. When it gets that hot, that's when we're going to put this in and sear. Because a lot of people think searing and braising are the same. One has oil and one does not. Fat side down. Hear that? That's what you want to hear when you're searing. Now, a lot of fat's going to come off. You'll see it developing in the pan. See how that fat's coming out? Look at how much fat we're getting. It's a lot. I'm Moke J Red. That sounds good. Alice, okay, hi. I have this stupid A1 that comes up and wants me to ask questions like, what's the favorite thing you like to draw? Really? Now I'm going to talk about bulgur before we get to it. Bulgur has to stay in the refrigerator or your freezer because it is a whole grain. It will go bad faster. My husband did mine. Oh God, the boys were little when he did it. He thought I looked so cute with a nose piercing. I've never had a choice about getting my ears pierced or my nose. So it was a long time ago. I think I was in my early 30s when it was done. Good morning. I have to read all these titles and stuff. But look at all the fat. Can you see all this fat? That is a lot of fat. And we're cooking this. This is why you don't add anything when you sear that. You cannot do that. I think, yeah, I said. So we're cooking duck today, bulgur, and we're having butternut squash, and I'm going to be making some cranberry. I think some cranberry sauce today. I have half a bag, so why not finish it up in the freezer? And then I'm going to make biscotti. So I've got a busy day in the kitchen today. We're going to have to go shopping tomorrow. But we're going to be making a meatloaf next week. We're going to be making buffalo wings. I've got the recipe for that. What else did I find that I like? I found some other recipes. I said, okay, this is what I'm going to make. And plus, tomorrow we're going to be making cappuccino coffee muffins. And we're going to be making Ezekiel flour next week. I'm going to talk about the mill that I have. It's a very nice mill, and I'll explain how it works. And that I would recommend this mill. They have other ones that are noisier, but this is one that has a lower sound, though it's still noisy. Not as bad as the other one. DJ, good morning. One is a duck, and one is a pig. That's the difference. Doesn't that look nice? See? And we're going to have to pull all this fat out. Because I cannot lay the next set that comes in after this because it won't be seared. And it'll be fried. So I'll pour this out, and then I'll put the other two on. And while they're cooking, I will sit there and we'll go and get the bulgur started. Medium rare is how I like my steaks. My knowledge comes from? Oh God, a lot of people have influenced me in cooking. No. Hi, honey, from Australia. Little corrected it properly. And remember yesterday I showed you how to use the very vegetables to dress your plates up. Well, good morning from California, Michelle. Well, you come from a big family, EJ. Good morning, 66. Elephant, oh, that'd be the worst thing to do is watch while you're fasting. You'd be hungry all the time. Mohammed. If I'm going to watch somebody cook, I'm going to be eating. I'm sorry. I'm just one of those people. And I'm hungry. I'm going to eat. Now, I'm not going to tell you at what point to cook your meat. You have to decide if you like it thoroughly done or medium rare or whatever. Everybody has their personal preference, so I'm not going to interfere with that. That's something you have to judge yourself. I'm thinking about it, saving the fat red. I'm not sure yet. Okay, Mohammed. No, kitty cat, this is duck. Just gonna put the fat tomorrow. I might strain the fat and cook with it and see what I can do with it if I want to carry that flavor through. Now you better come up. I don't want to play with you like I did yesterday. You're going to hear that pressure cooker soon because I'm doing the bones. Joshua, you like that? Yeah, we can do fries in this, which would the oil would be different. It would save me corn oil, so I'll probably, strain it. I might wait before I put it in. I don't know. Tell me you're going to act up again. Go. Come on, I want you to lock in. Shoot a brick. I'm going to have trouble with my pressure cookers again. It slips. I got to get these going first if I can do anything. Off 2 duck breasts, I got a whole cup of oil. Well, I should say 1 whole duck breast. Yeah, the heat is not working where I want it to. Come on. Let it drop. Can't open it until it's long. Yeah, you slipped again. Turn you back up a bit when this is going down. The rubber slips on my pressure cooker, and it doesn't always lock in, and I have to play with it. But 1 whole duck breast will give you 1 cup of oil. So we're going to let these finish cooking. I'm going to get an onion. We're going to need an onion for the bulgur. So, and you're going to have to chop it. So you know how the ducks are going. So we'll let them do what they have to do and we'll get this going. Oh yeah. Yeah, pork is good, Red. And Paul, I understand that. God, do I understand that. Payday's a very nice thing. And it's, I always tell people, when I get paid, I feel filthy rich. Then I pay the bills, and then I go to poor. But at least for 1 hour while I'm paying the bills, I feel like I'm rich, I've got money. Then after you pay the bills, yeah, I'm broke. People think it's funny when I say that, but it's true. My father used to think he had money, and after he paid the bills, and my mother paid the bills, boy, you could get poor in a hurry just paying your bills. Then you tell yourself, I'm not going to buy anything, right? Then you see something and you go and buy it, and then you say, yeah, I really didn't need to spend money, but stay away from the stores, you know. Like I've had a spatula for over 45, 50 years. It finally went. I said, oh my God. So I learned I'm rich when I have my health, that I have a roof over my head, clothes on my back, and food in my belly. I'm rich beyond me. I live in a country where I can just be in a state of being, which is nice. Control of my life, which is nice. What, I got 3 onions in here? Okay. Oh, looks like I got 3 onions. Okay. This onion was having crispness. Now, will I be canning peach ale mustard again? Yes. So when I can it, you'll have the recipe. recipe. Spill that oil so you'll have fire all over the place. Yeah. Okay. Well, this recipe for bulgur is so old, it's ridiculous. Okay? I was in my 20s when I got this recipe. So, it's a 40-year-old recipe. The only thing I'm going to do different is instead of adding water, I'm going to be using whey, which is a byproduct of making cheese. And because I make a lot of cottage cheese, I have a lot of whey. I gotta take that off so I can flatten this thing down. Alright, now, you see me slice these. So what you have to do is put your little finger back here when you go slicing across here to make sure that it doesn't slide as you're cutting it. I knew you were there. I was looking for you. And yes, if you don't have onions and you have scallions, they're onions, you can use them in place of a regular onion for this bulgur recipe. Oh, you guys are filling up on it. Okay. Pressure cooker is working for the bone. You will need a saucepan. As to how much bulgur I'm going to pour in, you know, I do it more by eye on this. I wake up high. Good morning, Katie, Joshua, Little, Ulysses. We are cooking duck breast. We're getting ready to make bulgur, and we're going to have a butternut squash, and I'm also going to be making some cranberry sauce as well to go with this dish later on today. I'm going to make biscotti, I guess this afternoon. I don't think I'll have time to make it this morning. And this is my normal hour getting up at 4. And please don't yell, Katie. I would serve a dark beer, pretty cat. Dinner. I started anywhere from 4:30 to 5:30. I should have everything done by then, so my sons can take it to work. I'm going to turn this pressure cooker down a bit. That's going to be the background that you're going to hear is that pressure cooking going, because I'm cooking bones to make bone broth. because I'm running out of bone broth and I want to make sure I have it. I've been collecting bones from roast and everything. I have the pork there. I have the lamb shank, or veal lamb shank. What other bone do I have in there? I think I have some goat bones too. But anyway, I collect these bones. And if you can't, or you don't have any bones, you can go to the butcher and ask them for bones and ask them to cut them down. And you can make bone broth from that. Yes, it is. Well, my bone broth is very strong. I'm not adding vegetables to it. I have vegetable stocks I make from my peelings. I collect bones. If we have bones at the table, I'll tell them, give me the bones. And people say, oh, how could you use the bones somebody's cut the meat off? I said, hey, I'm going to pressure cook it. The bloody thing is going to be sterile when I get done with it. So if you want to see how to make bone broth, that's what I'm doing right now. I have my pressure cooker and bones that I've collected, and there's 6 bones. And I'm not going to quit cooking them. I'll check them every hour and a half to 2 hours. Refill water in them because the water's going to evaporate down low. And I keep on adding water till I can take a regular knife and stab or take those bones and crush them with my bare hands. Other than that, they're going to stay in that pressure cooker cooking. And then what I do is I'll strain it with a cheesecloth or a towel. I usually use a towel. And a strainer, and then what I sit there and do is I will squeeze the rag or the towel that I'm using, circle it and squeeze the bones because they're so soft at that point you just squeeze the rest of the stuff out. Then you have it. You can it like you can broth, or if you want you can put it in a jar, stick it in the refrigerator. You can drink it by adding salt and pepper to it. You can sit there and add vegetables if you wish and cook it. After you've made your broth, you can sit there and use it when you cook pasta, when you sit there and cook rice, when you make gravies, or anything you need a liquid in for your meal. You can go ahead and do it like that and use it in place of it, and you'll slowly get those minerals back in. But remember, it took years to get rid of it, to deplete your body, so it's going to take some time to get them back in. We pour this back in a measuring cup. Okay, we have approximately 1.5 cups of duck fat. All right, we're going to have to get the bulgur going. Move to bulgur, and I'll get you over here. Just give me a minute. Turn the flame down. I already told you what bulgur is to give you an idea for people who, a lot of Americans do not eat bulgur, and it's very, very good for you. I don't want you to fall over again, which I'm probably going to knock you over again. We're going to put some oil in a pan. We put about a tablespoon. What we're going to do is we are going to saute a whole onion that's been chopped. For those of you that are learning to cook, please remember you keep the flame under the pot. Don't let the flames come up on the side because when you reach over, you're going to get burnt. And clothing can catch a fire, and then you have a fire in the house. Hi, Vicki, Joshua. Let's see. No, I use whatever I can find. The only bones I don't mix are the fish bones. I don't put those in there. I make a fish broth separate from that. But I use all sorts of mixtures of bones. Whatever I'm cooking that has a bone in it, when I'm done, I'll take it from the plates and stuff, put them in a bag, throw them in the freezer. When I get a bag full, I pressure cook them down. Carol, I'm making some bone broth because I'm running out, and we're making bulgur. We just finished the duck breast, and we're having butternut squash, and I'm going to make some cranberry sauce. Good morning, Red. Yeah, you know. Listen, my family doesn't like certain stuff, and I let them know I'm the cook. I'm not a short order cook. I told them point blank, what I cook you eat, or you can starve. Go to bed hungry. That was the rule in the house. I'm not a short order cook for anybody. We're going to saute these, and then I'm just going to pour bulgur in. And I know you're going to ask me how much. I can't even answer that because I just pour it all the time. Now the bulgur is actually going to be my starch for the dinner. I've got my protein. I'm making the starch now. Then we'll get the vegetables going. Yes, that's right. You got it right, my Michelle. Hey, I'm 73. Thank you, Red. I have about 200 cookbooks, so believe you me, sometimes I don't know, but somebody asked about meatloaf, so I'm thinking about next week doing a cook-along or making a meatloaf. But I'm going to do it, and I'm using barbecue sauce, so it's going to be different. It's going to be a simple meatloaf. I think I want to put some mushrooms in it, so I have canned some mushrooms, so I'm going to open a can of mushrooms to go with it. I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using some wheat germ, I think, bread, onions. Well, anyway, I'll let you know. Okay, Red, you make one. Joshua, Katie. Oh, Vicky, you're an Aries. Okay. I don't know if you're enjoying old age, but I am. I'm having fun. Pretty cat, I have to pick up and clean the house all the time. It's a daily thing. It's always a daily thing. And if I rush and hurry up, I'll have time to do my crafting, which I like to do. But the yard needs work right now. I'm looking at it, and I said, I really don't want to go out there and have to get down there, but I'm going to go. All right, you're sautéing these onions until they have a nice color. Yeah, I'm going to use pork, and I'm going to use beef. I know I'm putting parsley, some mushrooms. If you use fresh mushrooms, you'll have to saute them to bring them down. We're going to need onions, eggs, basil. I think yeah, I'm going to use pork sausage in it, garlic, wheat germ, bread. What bread will I use in it? Whatever I have. Now this is whey. Now you see the stuff down on the bottom here? That is protein. Actually, to make protein, take the bottle up, pop it, use it. Don't be afraid of it. Let's get the bulgur in here. Yeah, I'm going to burn the onions if I don't hustle up. You see, I can't tell you how much I just pour it in. I wish I could stir it around. So I tie this back up. Now this is going to have a slight nutty flavor to it. I'm just going to cover it. I'm going to add a little water to it. I'll add salt. I really have to make some more salt for myself. That's a kale and iodized salt mixture that I make for myself. Now we're going to bring this to a boil. And then turn it down to simmer and let it cook. As you can see, I turned the things down to simmer and let them cook because I don't want to have any waste. Okay, you could use your stock in a beef gravy as well. Okay, Katie, you're doing better than me on some. Thank you. All right. Yes, this is a big butternut squash, so I only used half of it at one time. So I figured I'd finish it up because I have to go shopping tomorrow. Oh God, I've got to start mustard too tomorrow too. When peaches come out, I'll make the peach ale mustard, which is really nice. I mean, it's different, you know. Now, the only difference from things that you buy pre-made in the store and at home you don't add preservatives In the store, they gave it a shelf life, so therefore they put preservatives in it. Of course, my stuff lasts canned years, so you begin to wonder how old is theirs if they have to preserve it. I heard a story yesterday. I was just listening to stories to entertain myself. And the story is the house, they were getting into the house. This woman didn't know how to use a gun, but she took a frying pan, hit him over the head. Now, you have to realize, in the Old West, they had cast iron. Now, you know how heavy a cast iron is. You hit somebody up along the head, believe me, I don't think he's going to be getting up anytime soon. I started laughing. Okay, it's boiling. We'll turn it down. You keep on adding liquid until it's cooked, because it's going to absorb that and it's going to be dry. And if it's not done cooking, just add a little more water or stock. Okay. You know, at one time I could collect seeds from vegetables. I didn't have to buy seeds. I could just sit there and take the seeds of the vegetables and stuff. They're doing so much to them to make sure that you have to buy the seeds, which is so frustrating. They're trying just to control everything, you know? I'm leaving these in pretty big pieces because this squash cooks very quickly and I don't want it to get soggy. I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to add very little water because we don't want to cook the nutrients out. We want to hold on to as many nutrients as we can. So if we put a little bit of water into this, when we bring it to a boil and turn it down to simmer with that lid on, it'll steam. Yeah, I make sourdough. I'm getting ready. I think I want to make a sourdough Ezekiel bread. Good morning, Jethro, Magic, Judy, Red. Yes, you're actually here in the pressure cooker. We have duck breast, which is on the table there, butternut squash, and we're making bulgur. I'm using bulgur as my starch. I'm getting a mess around my sink. So we're making bone broth this morning because somebody wants to make it. So I'm showing them how. If you don't have bones, go to the butcher, ask them for bones. They're going to charge you a couple of dollars for it because they know what you're going to do. As soon as you start asking for bones, they know you're going to make bone broth. And if you're like me, you buy pieces of meat and it has bones in it, and after you're done eating the steak and the bones on the plate, put them in a bag, put them in the freezer, get a bag, cook it down. Now you have to have a pressure cooker to sit there and do those bones because they're not going to break down in a regular pot boiling in water. Maybe in 10 years, cooking 24/7 maybe, but a pressure cooker really tears those minerals right, rips them right out of those bones. The bones become very weak and you can crush them. When you make your bulgur, check it because it might need extra water now. Not done. So I'm going to add some water now. Don't add a lot. If you add too much water, you won't be able to strain the water. You have to take it out and then it gets soggy. Yeah, you can use that. You can buy it because they didn't cook the bones down. But I use all kinds of bones. I mix them up. The only bones I don't put in there are fish bones. Like if you have a recipe that needs a fish stock and you've had shrimp, collect those shells. They're casing, stick them in the freezer. You cook those down with fish bones and you've got a lovely fish stock that you can use on dishes that require fish stock. You don't have to buy it. And remember, they're not cooking the bones down the way we cook them down in the store. Hi, yep, me, met. Celsius, Katie, okay. So as soon as that water cooks, we'll have that. Okay. So when the squash sits there and boils, we will have it. All right. I used about a pound of this, 12 ounces. See how much it weighs. Yeah, so I'm thinking about making sourdough Ezekiel bread. All right. So it's a little more, like 3/4. 8, 9, 10. So we're missing 12 ounces. I'm only missing a little bit. I'll just use the whole bloody thing. Okay, got my saucepans over there. So I remember it's 1 cup of water and 1 cup of sugar. You want 3 cups? I'm trying to figure the ratio that I might have to do. Am, are we back up to that again? No. Well, you all are in your own world right now. Don't assume. The only people who say that they're chosen, that means you put everybody else down and you think you're better than us. You better be careful about that. Every time you talk like that, God has punished you for that. So be very careful when you sit there and say we are the chosen people. Be very careful. You're just one of 12 tribes, and you took in 2 tribes because you didn't have any males, and those tribes were going to die out, so you put them into yours and called them Judea. And you've got some other tribes that are out there. They might not know their identity, but they're out there. And the only reason he allowed and kept you faithful was because you were the record keepers, and he needed somebody to keep the records straight. Now I turned the squash down because it's coming to a boil to a very low flame, and I'm going to let them simmer in that little bit of water that I have. I'm checking the boiler again. So, the end time, those tribes that were, who lost their identity will be known again. But Judea, the tribe of Judah, is supposed to keep the records straight. That's their whole job. But remember, every race and every country has offered something to the world. You don't hold a monopoly on it. I'm just going to dry it out now. That's pretty dry. So nobody's better than anybody, and you really shouldn't go around saying that. All right, here is the bowl. It's a very simple dish to make. that hot so I can sit there and cook the cranberries. What's up? Oh, we're cooking, Daniel. We got the bulgur done. We got the duck breast. We're working on the butternut squash. And then we're going to make cranberries. So this isn't quite, I'm thinking about adding 3/4 of a cup of water and 3/4 of a cup of sugar and cook these cranberries, but I don't quite have 12 ounces. Oh, okay. Duck breast, butternut squash, and bulgur, Katie. That's still cooking. We're waiting for the squash. Oh, you having toast and coffee? Okay, Matt. The boring part of waiting for food to cook. Yes. Amy, you are pushing an awful lot. You do that and people are going to get really angry. All right? You isolate yourself from people. You don't want to be part of society. You've got to be careful. All of us have to be careful, okay? And be respectful of each other and not look at yourself better than anybody else. But if you keep on doing that and when something comes down on you, you can't complain because you'll realize it was your mouth that did it. I know it's early, Chris. No, it's just that she just keeps on with the same thing every time I come on, like she's pushing it and pushing it. Well, and we're not talking religion here. She is, and I'm just telling her to be more respectful, to realize, you know, they're the record keepers, yes, but they are not. Everything else that she's saying, the way she's talking is she is better than everybody else. No, we're all the same. Like people used to say, racism, white was supreme. You know, and we had the stupidity of mankind sometimes. It's like, if you have to blow yourself up to be better than everybody else, then you're in trouble. People should look, and I'm not bringing this into be a political thing, okay? So don't look at it. Trump sees people in the street hurting, he goes and he helps them. He doesn't look for a thank you or anything else. They come to him and say, I need a job, he gives them a job. Because people want to help each other. Sometimes people are so far down, they need somebody to help, okay? So he comes and he sees them and he takes the time, though he's got a very important meeting, he will sit there and help them. And people who work with him, he says, help this person. You put them in the hotel, feed them, help them get back on their feet. He's like that. Princess Diana. People who had AIDS, they wouldn't touch them and they isolated them and everything else. She didn't. She went and she hugged them and she went to help them. She wasn't afraid. She went forward, realizing all of us are human beings. And she, too, did what she could as well. So you think about it. Those are the people you should inspire to be like. People that help people. Those are the ones that are going to make the world a better place. Fighting, calling names and saying, I'm better than you is very, very wrong. I got lost when I came into New York City. Somebody told me to get off at a stop. I did not know how to get around. And I ended up 15 blocks from home. And I was in a Jewish neighborhood, but I had never seen a Jew before because I grew up in Texas. We didn't sit there and say, you're Baptist, you're Presbyterian, you're Catholic, No, we didn't do that. We were all in the same boat. But up here, and I saw these men dressed in black, and they had a white shirt, and they were talking. They had these funny things on the side of their head, but I didn't know what it was at the time. And I went, and I touched one and said, excuse me, sir. And he ran away from me. And I said, excuse me. And I tried to talk to the women, and they had their children in the strollers. We didn't use strollers. We carried our children. And they ran away from me. And all what I was doing was trying to ask, I'm lost. I need help. I sat down on the curb, and I started crying. I was just crying because nobody was helping me. Nobody was talking to me. And I didn't know what to do or how I could get home. The police came through and they saw me sitting there. They stopped because they couldn't understand why I was crying. And I told them I was lost. I'm trying to get to this address and I don't know how. And I'm not from here. I'm from the South and I want to get home. They stayed with me till a bus came, put me on the bus, told the bus driver exactly where to tell me to get off. And he did. And they paid for me. Of course, it was very cheap at that time. It wasn't $3 or $4 or whatever they're going up to now. And then he paid for me so I could get home. And that was my first introduction to a Jewish person, to be isolated from them. They wouldn't give me the time to help me. Now that does not make them better than anybody else. That was low down. When people ask for help, you should be able to help them. Sometimes it's just a hug. Sometimes it's just an information. Sometimes it's the simplest things. So we should be kind to each other, but don't look at yourself as being better than anybody, or that we are chosen by God. Because if you're chosen and you did everything right, you wouldn't have gone through what would happen during World War II, or the other things that happened to you when you were thrown into slavery. So you have to be very careful about saying things like that, because you can irritate a lot of people. Oh, I need another knife. All what I wanted to do was to go home. And they couldn't even help me with a simple thing like that. Nope, not yet. Still getting there. I'm not saying you can't feel good about yourself. You can walk down the street and have a smile and just feel beautiful and sunshiny. That's fine. But there's no reason to be rude when somebody's asking for help. I'm pressure canning some bones. Yeah, so you think there are two people who gave and give. One who's already passed. The Pavarotis wouldn't leave her alone. She had a right to her own life. And then you have a president here who's giving all that he has. He just keeps giving. So when you see people like that, you don't have to like the political part of it. You don't have to like their voice. But if they're helping people, who are you to sit there and say you're better than them when you can't even help somebody who might need a simple thing as instruction to get someplace? I mean, people ask me, and I said, you know what? I know a 5-block radius where I live. Don't ask me to go any further than that. And I tell them, I really don't know, but I'll send them to somebody who does know. And say, do you know where this place is? And they'll say, sure, but I go out of my way to help if I can. No, we're not in World War III yet. If you knew how World War III was going to be, a lot of people assume it, but we're not there yet. Believe you me, there's a few more things that have to go on before we hit World War III. And you'll be lucky because this earth is going to be scorched. Not going to be flooded, None of that is going to be burnt. What do you think about that? And the East Rock River hasn't finished drying up yet either. So you got to think about all of that. Bones. That we're actually cooking bones to make bone broth. Thank you, Dean, and good morning. See, there goes Emmy again. She just likes to shove it. She doesn't want to hear the truth. She wants to hear her point of view. Hi, Jay. Richard. Yeah, I saw you, Richard. Hexagon? Okay, you're a boomer? All right. Bones. We're actually cooking different bones I've selected from meals. Hi, Richard. How have you been? Del? Just ignore Amy at this point. She's being very quite egotistical. Pretty. Right now I'm watching the squash. And it does cook very, very fast. I have the same amount of water from the butternut squash because it had fluid in it, so as it was evaporating, it was replacing it. See how nice it comes out? All right, let me ratio this out. Now, a lot of you ask me what kind of pots I use. I use Cuisinart and All-Clad. Very good pots. They're heavy on the bottom. I think, personally, I think they have, I'm not sure. It could be just all metal. Yeah, it might be. But they have a heavier bottom on them. It holds that heat so you can cook at lower flame so you don't have such a high bill. Of course, winter will eat your bill up, believe you me. Now, what do I need in measure? Now, I don't have 12 ounces, so let's see. They want a cup, so I'm going to put 3/4 of water. I'm compensating for 2 ounces I'm missing. And I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of sugar instead of 1 cup of each. So 3/4 cup of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of water. And that should cover for the minusing of the cranberries I have. Because I have 10 ounces instead of 12, so I'm compensating for it. Come on, I know you guys are frozen in there. Come on. canned them, but I ate all my cranberry sauce. It's very good for the summer if you can it. It's very high in bioflavonoids and vitamin C. I don't know if you make your own cranberry sauce. We'll just bring this to a boil and let it cook until they all pop, and then we'll have the cranberry sauce for dinner today. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I've never tried it, but I have had muffins made with cranberry and orange, and that's very nice, so I can imagine it would be. Good morning, Feathered, Fred, Richard, Riley. Hi, I think I said that right. So anyway, listen, there's some things I don't know and I'm learning, okay? I've done a lot of different things, but there's some recipes when I read them, I go, I don't know about this. You know, but that's me. I don't think any one person knows everything in the kitchen, not even a chef, but they'd never admit it. They'd sit there and figure it out. These are cranberries now, but we've already made duck breast, butternut squash, and bulgur, so now we're working on the cranberry sauce, and that'll be pretty much it. Yeah, that's good. This is cranberry sauce right now. It is. Listen, my husband and I have thrown dishes out. They were so bad in our experimentation. Like I made a carrot bread. That bread is so moist, I even questioned did I cook it all the way, but it's like that. When you toast it, it's very light, it's very crunchy. Well, it's not crunchy, the crust is, but the bread is so soft, you almost think, did I bake this long enough? Oh, yeah. I think the worst recipe was what my husband made, because even our pets wouldn't eat it. Well, we weren't going to eat it. It was so bad, so we gave it to our pets. They wouldn't eat it. So my husband said, well, the strays outside can have it. They'll eat anything. They didn't touch it. It was 10 foot tall. I said, I told you it was bad. I wouldn't let him live that down. So if he ever said anything about mine, I always said, me, we talked about what you did with that dish. It was like a hidden secret in the house. Like my son, who's been trying to fry eggs, and he sat there and said, he finally came every night. He had 2 eggs, and he was frying them. He was burning them. He was burning the butter. And I kept yelling from upstairs. He said, I'll do it myself. I'll learn how to do it. Yesterday afternoon, after a week of him trying this, he said, Mommy, would you come show me how to fry eggs? I said, yeah, I'll show you. And I showed him. I said, are they burnt? And he said, no. I had the flame too high. I told you to keep turning that flame down. When you cook curries, you need high heat, all right? When you cook Asian food, you need high heat. But there's some dishes you really need on a low flame to get them right. Yes, today I am making, what did I say I was making? Cranberry, pistachio, cranberry, I'm making a dessert later. But this right here, the reason the video is longer is we got that pressure cooker, they want to see how I'm doing it. Oh, there. Feathers. They're sleeping right now. If they're down, you can see them, but if they're up there, I'm not going to drag them down. Abigail, good morning. Richard, good morning. That's okay. So I think I have the right ratio for this, and we'll put it in a bowl. Okay. It should fit. Oh, it doesn't. It should fit. Now, my mother didn't like foam on the cranberries, because they are going to develop a foam as they pop and the pectin comes out. But it never bothered me, but it always bothered her because she was a perfectionist. She'd have me skimming it. And she said, stir, 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 stir it, stir it down. Don't let it foam. Don't let it foam. So I used to stand and stir this all the time. Good morning, Richard. Thank you. I'm sure I will. These earrings are quite old. I have a couple of necklaces that come with it, but I didn't put them on today. Because I got to go out and clean the gutter. When I came up here, I used to clean the gutter. And people said, don't do it, sanitation does it. So all these years I haven't been doing it because they told me not to. Well, I ended up with a ticket to clean the gutter up to 18 inches out into the street. I said, okay. So I'm going to have to go out there after the snow and everything else. I got to go out there and take care of that. But I felt like taking it to court and said, look, I did this for many years and everyone told me not to do it. Now you're telling me I have to do it. And I was told I didn't have to do it. It was sanitation's job. Okay, they're cracking. I can see some of them are. And you hear the popping. I don't think you can because he's got this going. Hi, Abigail. Yes, it is. What time is it? 6:59, almost a minute of 7. Now these pops. They're going to foam and crack the pectin, and then as you stir it, it'll become thicker. And then you can sit there, and which ones don't pop, just press them up against the edge. Right now, I have to wait. Pectin from the cranberry is a thickening agent. That's where you get the gel. I wonder if I couldn't make blueberry cranberry jelly. Hey, I'll go there, I might try it. I really might try making blueberry cranberry jelly. Because you're going to add the sugar anyway, right? And you need pectin because the blueberry really doesn't stick. So why not put the cranberries with it? And see what comes out. Yeah, I'll do that in the autumn, I think. I don't have any more cranberries. I won't find them until autumn, so I'll have to wait. Let's see if you can see this better. You can see it's foaming up. See? I think Gordon Ramsay had a hard life growing up. I think he's a very tough man. He's got a mouth on him. A bit egotistical, I think. But he's a chef. He's a good chef. I've made some of his recipes, so they're not bad. So would I have him in my kitchen? Oh, heck no. Would I have him eat my food? He would criticize me up one and down the other. He'd probably say, I can taste it. Yeah, well, that's because I use socks and stuff, you know. You probably say, no, you can't do that, you can't do this. But I wouldn't want to cook for him. He yells and screams and curses people out. And I couldn't deal with that. I didn't grow up in a house with that violent. Oh, my parents fought. Yeah, my mother punched everybody, like I said. But the thing is that I couldn't deal with him. He wouldn't know how to talk with me, and I would get up and walk away from him. Because I don't deal with people that do that. There's ways of talking to people, and there's ways of being extremely disrespectful, and I think he is in that aspect with his mouth. I understand, but I think he could talk better to them. But I'm not at his level. I'm in a different level. And this puppy the last few that haven't talked. And it's getting thick now. This is what you want. It's how you make cranberry sauce. And it's almost at that point. As you see, as I stir it, the pink is really dying down. That's how you do it, so you don't have that film. But my mother wanted it done before that point. Now you know how to make cranberry sauce. For those of you that, this is a very easy recipe to make cranberry sauce. This has we have duck breast, butternut squash, bulgur, and cranberry sauce. And okay, Amy, you say Jews are the chosen people. So tell me something. Why did the Jewish people, the Rothschilds, sit there and sell you people out? To help Hitler get into power. Do you know why? They sacrificed, your community sacrificed the Jews so the world would have pity on them so they could have a state of Israel. So quit posting that you're the chosen. You think about that. And also think about who saved your hide. Or there would be no Jews today. It was America. You remember that. So don't get on your high horse. You know. And by the way, when the soldiers, American soldiers, came to camp because the Germans pretended they were Americans, and you guys would flock to them, and then they'd laugh at you. The only Americans you trusted were the darker race of Americans. You didn't trust anybody else. So you think about that. Your people sold you out, Hitler to get in, so you could sit there and be tortured and stuff and everything else so you could have a home state, a country. That's the truth of what happened in World War II. And it was the Americans who saved you. So you should be really a little kinder, but you're acting like a little spoiled girl. No, Amy, you're going to go on your own line. And another thing, you have to live, Amy, being Jewish. Who's the one who took care of Christ to make sure that it was you guys who screamed, crucify him, crucify him. All right, so if you want to stay chosen, all right, now we'll sit there and go even further into it. You know what they did to him? Have you seen the crown of thorns and what he went through? He shouldn't have been able to walk. You should read what they put him through for us. And the cat of nines that they used on him, they ripped his skin off. His back was open, and then they put a cross, and he had to carry that cross. You know what he's doing? Crown of thorns were like this, and they're like steel, and they pushed it in on his head, and they beat him as well. So don't sit there and get on your high horse. You think about what you have done. That doesn't make a chosen people. You're only a people to keep records. So be kinder to the other and quit blowing yourself up. And the only reason America went into World War II was because they were attacking us. They were on our shoreline and everything else. And they had infiltrated with spies in this country. We had to get into war. And we were in a depression. And the only way we could get out of it was we had to go to war. And that's what built the country back up. So think about these things before you sit there and start putting yourself on a high horse, Amy. You've got to be considerate. People came and saved your hides. And it was your people who caused the torture of all those millions of Jews. And it was a Jewish person who turned to Hitler when he wanted to be a painter and told him the only thing he'd be good at would be painting houses. And Hitler didn't want to be a leader. He wanted to be an artist. Encouragement might have been better and have prevented a World War II. So words are very powerful. So as you keep on saying these things, you're putting people down and they're going to get angry. Be respectful. I'm always saying be respectful. If you're going to speak, thank you, Fairy. Always be respectful of other people and their cultures. I'm not telling you have to live by it, but if that's their culture, fine. Your culture's there. That's the way you roll. I don't believe in that culture. I go in this direction. Your faith is here. Well, my faith is here. Which road's going to go to God? There's many paths, but there's only one narrow one. And we have to be considerate of that. Yeah, I'm talking about respect. Pretty. Well, if you wish to testify against Jesus, well, when he comes to this earth and you see him, then I want to see how well it's going to go with you and him. Because I think you'll lose, so I'll take a bet more on Jesus than you. Okay? Okay, so listen, now that's all it. I'm going to be making dessert. Oh, you want to see the bones, how they're going. Sorry, I forgot, because they're going to be going for about 6 hours. But I have to turn this off. I'm going to have to take the pressure off of this so I can see how much liquid is gone and add more liquid. And I keep on adding liquid to this. So we're doing a lot of things. Oh, how did you do them, Pretty? How'd you do your collards? With bacon? Do you can them if you have that much collards? Do you bake them? Can them? You must be in the South and you just got them out of the garden. Try to release pressure, and I'm not supposed to do this, but I do. You have to be careful the liquid doesn't come through and burn you. I have to let the fat and stuff settle. Or I'm going to have a mess. That's why I'm ordering the Ethiopian Bible. Did any of you get yours yet? Or did you even order it? Liquid's coming out, so I'm going to have to do it a little different. Okay, dang. releasing pressure because there's a lot of pressure here. As this and this drops, you know you're getting the pressure down. So this won't be the first time. I do it many times until those bones are really cooked down, but you have to watch that water. This is why I want to check the water. It's been going for a while. See how much fluid I have in it and how much more I have to add. Yes, it gets hot too. It is hot. Okay, I don't think I can do much more. This is going to take a few minutes to calm down so I can get more off of it. Oh, enjoy it. Enjoy the chili. Oh my God, that'll be good. By the way, you're making a mistake that America's fighting the war for you. The reason we're over there is they got bombs, missiles that could hit America. They were building up to hit us long distance. That's why we went and we did what we did. You can see the pressure's changing now. It's not as bad. So the Middle East, because their whole thing is to destroy Christianity and everything, they want just their religion. And I don't agree with it. Muhammad was a man. I don't believe him. He hasn't created anything, and in their belief, a man, if you fight for Islam, you get what, 70 wives on the other virgins? He's just a man thinking earthly, that's all. He doesn't say to respect, he doesn't say love your neighbor, or peace, or know that there's a heaven or anything else like that. So I couldn't see him, you know, he doesn't compare it to Jesus. Jesus spoke of peace and everything else. Oh, that is really hot. And I'll do this 3 or 4 times until those bones are tender. But I have to keep an eye on the water because it will evaporate with this kind of pressure. Oh! Does this tell you how much pressure I have on this thing? I'll show you. It should be dropping. And any meat that was left on it is going to give you protein in the bone broth. You know, you don't have to clean the bones completely. So you have all that flavor as well and seasoning. This is what I did with pig's feet, and I popped this whole top off, and I just had a mess of pig's feet and the fat and all. That's why I cook them the hard way now. adjust that. No. Does that tell you how much pressure is on this thing? You wonder why you have to wait 30 minutes to an hour? But when you do bone broth, you have to get in here and check it. You don't need it to evaporate all the liquid out of it. So probably by this afternoon, I will have it cooked down really well. So when I make the dessert later this afternoon, probably early this afternoon, I will also show you the bones and just how tender they are. Which is, you know, the state that you want them at so you can get the full minerals out. I do have something against the perfume industry. They're making this Coda perfume, and it's got hormones in it. If you have a husband and these women are using this, if he's unfaithful, you can bet it was what she was wearing to attract him. Because those pheromones that are out there trigger the male hormones. So you have to be careful. If he's faithful and he smells that, he might, you know, so you got to be careful. That's just causing more problems with the family. And do I wear perfume? Yes, I do. I like Chanel No. 5 and an A&A. I called it an Nice, but my son says it's an A&A. It's French money. I said, well, that's okay. At least I know what I like. So there's a lot of things going on. So yeah, you're down. We're coming to the end of this now. Yeah, my fingers are getting hot. Yeah, it's getting ready. It's nice and loose. You can go down now. Okay. See, I can't stab these bones yet. And the water's already down here. So I'll add more water, bring it back to a boil, and turn it back on. I knew the bones weren't going to be done, but, you know, I was going to show you. And what you see, those are all the flavorings and everything. So it won't be clear unless you buy the bones from the butcher. So this will go back on, and I keep on doing this until those bones are cooked thoroughly. Okay, let's set this again. Okay. Get back on that burner. So this afternoon, you will be seeing, but this is how I do it. I keep on checking it periodically. Make sure the water's in it. Refill it if I'm running, the water's evaporating. You keep on going until those bones are tender. I know I repeat myself, and you say, why do you keep on repeating yourself? Because most people only half listen, and you have to repeat yourself. Why do you think teachers repeat themselves? They know their students aren't going to listen all the way. All right. That's it for now. I've got to clean up my mess. I finished taking care. I'm just not going to answer that person. They're in their own high horses. Matthew, happy birthday. I hope you have a great day today. Okay. Hi, sexy girl and Judy. Bye. So I'll see all of you later this afternoon. Probably somewhere around 1 or 2. I think I'm going to be cooking then to get the biscotti, and those should be just about done at those time, and then you can see how they are. Okay, so I want all of you. I want all of you to take care, and I will see you later this afternoon. Well, this afternoon, not later this, later this afternoon because it's early morning. And don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be doing Come Cook With Me. And at the end of Come Cook With Me, I will tell you the day I'm going to be making the meatloaf and what you have to get to come cook with me to make a meatloaf, okay? I'm going to, remember, mine's going to have barbecue sauce. I'm not going to use ketchup. I'm actually going in a different direction. Yes, I do. I found that recipe, but I did. Okay? So I don't know when I'll get to it, but anyway, it's there. So take care, like I said, and have a great day today and be safe. All right? Bye-bye.